start.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
See.
Come on. Push by.
Coach, what are some of the keys for the turnaround for your team?
It's honestly a lot of blood and guts. I mean, I think first of all, learning and growth in my role, just trying to evolve and as the landscape shifts, positioning the program to be successful. It's taken a group of people to sign up for something that's really hard and to stay committed to it. It's taken some time, but I feel like after the 23 season, we locked some pieces in place that we needed in terms of our systems in the weight room, offense and defense. And we've also executed a plan to use the portal to our advantage too. Those have been important factors as well. And that's given way to this run of success that we hope to keep moving forward.
So what changes in the portal did y'all make exactly? Just get more.
Well, when I took the job, and again the portal at its inception was not, and specifically NIL. It's like those two things combined. We weren't looking to build a program out of the portal. We wanted to have a traditional kind of 4-year, 5-year high school experience, and we thought that was a better foundation. And NIL was not something we were planning on participating in at the time. You were seeing minimal contracts, and the long-term value of education was kind of more impactful than the offers that were being made. Obviously, that changed rapidly, and so we realized quickly we needed to create a system to create something that has never been at Vanderbilt, and that's opportunities for our players to be supported financially, and you've got to find people that are willing to step up and help you with that. And I'm fortunate to have such a courageous athletic director in Candace Lee. And we got together after the 23 season and said, if we don't do this, we won't have a program. And so we lagged behind everyone else by about a year, but what we've been able to do combined with the strength of our systems and the foundation that was laid has allowed us to find results. And now we just got to keep pushing forward.
How many transfers do you have coming in this offseason right now?
We'll have 15 or so, like somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 new players. 21 will be freshmen. About a third of our team will be new, but again, there's a blend of a high school player and transfer. So it's still not a we're not building our program out of the portal, but what it gives you a chance to do is strengthen the top end of your depth chart and create competition in your roster, and that's what we've been able to do with it.
In any way, Cart, do you feel like other programs are going to look at y'all in Indiana as models and blueprints to any certain degree?
Yeah, I think every place is a little different. Some schools have kind of wholesale gone into the portal and they're creating new teams every year. We have something unique in the education at Vanderbilt. There's still a factor of this that's kind of forward-thinking or long-term. And so to me, that gives way to retention, and so there's a real reason to want to have a blend of portal contributors and also people that you grow in your program 4 to 5 years. We are again a blood and guts operation. There's nothing that walking through our building says, hey, we're in the same building that I operated out of as a player, the same weight room footprint. We've updated our stadium, but you're going to seat right at 35,000. So if you're into logos or you're into facilities, there are going to be other programs for you. We're capturing hearts and minds, and we're asking for total commitment. And so for me, it's hard to do that cycling in and out of a team every year. We want to have guys that are with us for 4 and 5 years to set the nucleus of our operation, and then add around it, and that's the best formula for Vanderbilt.
When you come to the responses when you're in the portal because of the season, more guys pick up the phone.
Certainly, there's always going to be a certain segment of guys that are looking for something different, but we don't have to sell a vision anymore. There's proof of concept, and anytime you have proof of concept, people can still be inspired about the vision and move it forward. There's still room, obviously, for us to grow, but way more responsive with respect to seeing what the product is on the field and seeing something they want to be a part of.
You talk about hearts and minds and trying to put them all together. When the history of Vanderbilt football is written, you try to change hearts and minds, and you've done it
What's the impact of this team at this moment in time?
Oh, it's hard sometimes to gain that kind of perspective. I think a lot of that has to do with how we leverage it forward, how we grow it forward. I do believe we can create something at Vanderbilt that still sees and cares about the individual, that still protects the long-term interest of the player, and obviously there's elements of our program too that we've had to adjust and adapt, and we will have players transfer out and transfer in as we determine what best strengthens our team. The mission's winning, but just like anything, it's like the bomb explodes and then it kind of resolves back. There's going to be a return here at some point to some of the values that have defined our game for so long. We'll be really well positioned when that happens because I don't think we've lost our soul in all this. And I think if there's a legacy to be had, maybe it's that we've stayed valued and principle driven, and that's going to allow us to do something that's lasting and really bigger than any one moment.
Coach, after you took command of the NIL, what was the biggest hurdle that you felt you were able to overcome?
Well, when you start talking about transaction and NIL, you're going to start talking about factions in your locker room, and look, I think there's a responsibility we have to help our players understand, how to be responsible with that money, how to invest it, how to make it stretch and make it last for them. I'm glad that I wasn't, my highest earning potential didn't happen when I was 18 to 22. I don't know that I would have made the best decisions. And these guys will go on to be wildly successful beyond their time at Vanderbilt, but we do have a responsibility to them to help them in this moment. The biggest challenge we face is the selfishness that defines being human. And when you're trying to do something as a team, you've got to fight against that at every turn. And so we message that in the intake of players. We message that as we go through the experience together. We stay committed to that messaging as we've got guys that earn a lot of money as a part of our program now. And I'm proud of the way the players have responded, and I think that's allowed us to keep our integrity and to keep something that feels like a brotherhood and like a family.
So who's the next Indiana and Vanderbilt?
Oh, I don't know that I would go that far, but we got a ways to go yet, and we're looking for sustainability, and no different than the first 3 years, 2-10, 5-7, 2-10. They don't define us. 7-6 and 10-3 don't define us. We got to keep exploring and chasing our curiosity and finding just better ways to operate. And what we do believe is that what we have is sustainable, and that Vanderbilt can be the best program in the country as we go. We got to keep finding the path through.
Coach, in less than 5 years, you've already made history. And this being your alma mater, can you just talk about the journey that you made here at Vanderbilt and how much it means to you to put your name in the history books after graduating?
That's humbling. I don't know. It's a return home. So anything that has to do with home is about belonging. It's about family. It's about support. Vanderbilt's where so much of who I am as a man started, and the program I was a part of shaped me in so many impactful ways. I want to return that in the way I steward this position now. But I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the history we're making. I think it's more of, unfortunately, is the life of a coach is what's next. How do we go further? And that's where I choose to put my focus. And I think all of it will come into perspective for me on the back end of my career when I'm retired.
Absolutely. And do you think there was something particularly special about this group that led you guys to do this, or do you feel like it was the years of hard work finally paying off and the system working after putting at it for a couple of years?
It's certainly a combination, and I think that combination is important. We had 1-year transfers that were with us for 8 months this year. We've had 2-year transfers that were part of 24 and 25. We've got guys that have been there 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years. There's a blend there. They all signed up for the vision we had. I've evolved a lot in the role in my time, which has helped us. I also have been able to put pieces in place in our systems, in the weight room, offense and defense, and special teams that drive performance. So it's a combination of both that, the foundational investments that we made, the learning and growth of the program that was in 2021, but also the additions we made over time, and all of that combined to give way to this season.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Did you get a quarterback out of the portal?
We did not. We We signed a high school player that we have a lot of belief in, and we return guys that have been invested in our program for a few years that we want to give chances to compete. So we stayed out of that rat race.
So just shifting gears. Hi, Coach.
Hi.
As a Nashville native, just wanted to personally thank you for bringing so much success to the city. We really appreciate it. If you had to tell your fans one more thing before we close out the season, what would it be?
It'd be first, thank you. Our fans showed up for us this season in a great environment that was exciting. It felt like I was at a party on Saturdays at First Bank Stadium, which is really cool. That hasn't been the case. I think that starts with our students who've been so consistent in their support over the last 2 years. And to our Nashville community, just thank you so much for showing up and giving us a chance. My goal is to put a product on the field that inspires them to keep showing up. But we have a lot of work ahead of us. We also have a lot of fun ahead of us. And as a Nashville native, I'm proud to be connected to this community, to be stitched into it with my family, and also to share celebrations at First Bank Stadium with Nashville on Saturdays.
What were you telling your team behind the scenes that really pushed you guys forward to become a really successful team this year?
Well, I don't know that there was anything that I was necessarily telling them that this is a human endeavor. It's bigger than any one person. I have a role in the program and in the success of the program, just like everyone else has a role. I think it's our understanding of alignment. It's kind of the fire that we bring to our roles every day, the passion that have allowed us to find these breakthrough moments and sustain success. Winning 10 games in the SEC is really hard. And there's nothing that I can say that actually makes that happen. It's the work and the investment, the sacrifice of all the people involved that give way to that. And that wasn't about August through December. That started last January. So I'm really grateful and appreciative for all the people that chose to join this journey with us, and I'm grateful for all the sacrifice they put in to make it what it is today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Did you have a private conversation with Diego after his reaction to the high school?
I did.
How'd that go?
Really well.
Yeah.
I'm disconnected to social media for the best of reasons. And so I wasn't aware of it until we had actually landed back in Nashville and we were actually deplaning together. And when it was brought to my attention, I addressed it with him. He was immediately contrite and understood the mistake he'd made and was really willing to work to try to correct it. Diego Pavia is one of the best humans I know. He's a brother to my kids. He's meant more to me than I can articulate.
Yeah.
So the great thing about being human is that you make mistakes, and that mistake was one that it also exemplified his competitive fire and his passion. And in so many ways, the build of our program has been about blocking external noise and focus on internal investment. And he understands that better than anyone. And yet there's also a level of respect we need to bring to that moment and appreciation to the honors that are bestowed upon us and the recognition we do get. And so he realizes that as a college football player, there's no greater honor than being in New York for the Heisman. And I know he's so grateful to have been included in that, and disappointed he didn't win, just like any competitor. I'm glad that I didn't have access to social media through my disappointments when I was 22 years old. But he's a good man and a great football player, and we're really proud of him and proud to have had him represent our program.
Coach, it's time for one more question.
Thank you.
Would it affect his draft picks at all?
I don't think so. There's too much goodness there to take away from that. So.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, thank you.